Welcome to this how-to presentation on things that you should do and not do in your application for my studies with us at InnoEnergy Masters Plus. My name is Josh Compton and I am one of the admissions officers here at InnoEnergy Masters Plus. And this is just going to be a quick video just to show you simple things that you can do in your application that will make your application be more complete and accurate, and also just some guidelines about things that you can do and things that you shouldn't do when applying for InnoEnergy. So the agenda today, we're going to start off with a little how-to. So it's like a little guide about how to tackle the different sections or some of the different sections in the application. We're then going to look at some do's, followed by some don'ts. And then, of course, you're going to get some contact details in case you'd like to get in touch with us. So first of all, why is this important? Because, you know, when we fill in our applications, there are many different things that we need to think about. Do we have the right documents? Are we writing the information in the correct place? Are we being as concise and as professional as we can be with our applications? So this is just a little guide to help you make the application in the best way that you can. And essentially, if you manage to follow these guidelines, then you're going to lower the risk of having errors in your applications, which will heighten the chances of your application being approved, which is at the end of the day what we want to do for you here at the admissions office. If you have all of your documents in order when you apply, then this could potentially reduce some financial burden in case you need to get any last minute documents then, or, you know, if you don't have much time for the visa application, you know, it could be more expensive to get that process sped up. So if you submit your application with everything where it should be, then fingers crossed, it should help mitigate those circumstances. You should also get more time to prepare for your relocation to your year one university. So this can also help you to prepare in the best way possible and get set ready to study with us at InnoEnergy Masters Plus. And at the end of the day, hopefully, fingers crossed, this should help you to avoid potential problems with your application. So to start with, I'm just going to show you something from our website. What you can see on the screen right now are a couple of screenshots from how the website looks when you go to apply. So I'm just going to show you how that is on the website itself. So when you log into apply.innoenergy.com, this is a view similar to which you will have. So you can go down and then this is just for argument's sake, but let's say that we start to edit the application. And then you can see here on the left-hand side, you've got this menu with all of the different sections. Okay, so you'll start off with the priorities, and your priorities are essentially, you know, which programs would you like to study? You can apply for up to 2 programs in rounds 1 through 4, and you can apply for 1 program in round 5. It's free to apply, and you can apply in as many application rounds as you wish. But yeah, you can't create 2 applications in 1 application round if you've already applied for 2 programs in that application round. So just to hop back to the presentation, bear with me 1 second, please. So remembering back to the website and then remembering the menu on the left-hand side, that is what we can see here. Okay, so there's the priorities section. If you wish to apply for just 1 program, that's completely fine. But again, if you'd like to apply for 2 programs, then you just add more choices here. Once you've chosen your priorities, then the next item that you can see on the right-hand side of the screen here is the checklist in the menu. And the checklist is essentially a list of tasks that you have to do to upload documents for your application. And they are, as you can see here with these sort of like red no entry signs. Oh, sorry about that. You just click on these options and follow the instructions. We're going to take a little bit of a closer look at one of these a bit later on in this presentation. Make sure that you read through all of the information properly. So for example, this green highlighted information at the top of the page, make sure you've read that, and make sure that you understand our admissions requirements as best you can. So when it comes to what we call at InnoEnergy Masters Plus, the home or host university, the home university is essentially your year one university, which you choose. And then the host university is the year two university. And it varies from program to program how the year two university is chosen. For some programs, you apply for both at the same time. For other programs, you only apply for one. And then the second university is determined during your first year. But this is all sorted in the system. So if you choose, for example, renewable energy, then the system will know that you only fill in the year one or the home university. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. But when thinking about which universities you'd like to apply for, the first question you need to ask yourself really is, do you fulfill the English requirements for this university? And essentially, our English requirements are that you have either an IELTS academic test, a TOEFL IBT test, or a Cambridge CAE or CPE test, unless you fulfill the requirements for an English test waiver. There are slightly different rules regarding, for example, the home edition or the online edition of the tests. So do make sure that you are up to date with the information that is on our website so that you can follow what's going on there. And then you can also assess whether you meet the admissions requirements yourself. I just want to show you quickly where you can find this information on the website. Because during application, our website should be like your best friend. You should know it inside out. And, you know, by doing so, it should help you to understand the admissions requirements better, and create an application which is more likely to be successful. So when you come to the InnoEnergy Masters Plus website, this is what you will see. You've got a selection of different tabs up here at the top. The one that we're interested in right now is how to apply. So here we go. And then when you're looking at application, then it's the requirements, of course. We have a little scroll down, and then we've got sort of these different sections here, these 4 different sections. Okay. So what you can do, you know, take a read through, make sure that you understand everything, and make sure you read all of the sections as well. Some of the sections have, if we scroll down a little bit more, they have expandable information like this. Please make sure that you read through all of this information because it's going to be helpful to you when creating your application. So then we scroll down to English proficiency, and then we've got, you know, a plethora of different options here for appropriate forms of English proficiency. And then finally, the prepare your application tab, which also has a read more expanding section. And this tab, although it's right at the bottom at the moment, it's very important that you read to the very end, because some of you who have studied in certain countries, you have specific documentation requirements upon you know, the normal documentation requirements that people from other countries have. So if you studied in Pakistan, for example, then you need to get your transcript and your degree certificate attested by the Higher Education Commission. So please make sure that you scroll, you have a look, you know, have I studied in one of these countries? Yes, I have. Okay, that means that I need to fulfill this extra document requirement. If you don't fulfill the requirement, then we can't unfortunately continue to process your application, and we want to help as many of you as possible to come and study with us. So please make sure you give this information a good read through, and make sure that you fulfill this documentation requirement if you've studied in one of these countries. Back to the presentation. 1 second. And there we go. When it comes into filling your profile, have you filled in your name exactly as it appears in your passport? One common issue that we see here at the admissions office is that people put their first name or their given name where the family name, the surname, or the last name should be. So do make sure that where it says in your passport, given name, and then surname or family name, please make sure that you put those in the right fields. And then, are there any typos? You know, have you filled in your passport number correctly? Are the dates the same as what they are in your passport or on your ID card? So do make sure that you just, give everything a little double check, and you should be right as rain. When it comes to previous education, the most common errors that we find at the admissions office are that people haven't typed in the official name of the university correctly. I'd say for those of you who have studied in India, this is like a more recurrent problem for people who have studied in India because of how autonomous colleges are affiliated to larger internationally recognized universities. The most simple advice I can give you is whichever university has produced your degree certificate, that should be the name that you fill in here. Okay. When it comes to the program name and the awarded qualification or degree, some people switch these around. At the end of the day, it's not a massive hindrance on the application, but it just helps our program steering committees if everything is in the right order. So the program name is the name of the actual program that you studied, like, for example, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, petroleum engineering, whatever it may be, physics, maths. And then the awarded qualification is, for example, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Technology, Bachelor of Arts, Master's degree, Master of Science, for example. And then I think you might be surprised to know how many people actually fill in a diploma issue date which isn't, which doesn't match with the date that is actually on the degree certificate. So in this field, the diploma issue date field, that is the date that you're going to take from your actual degree certificate where it says the date that the degree was issued. Okay. And some of you may have graduated. I've got, for example, here the date, the 15th of July, 2017. Some of you may graduate, let's say, for example, on the 10th of July, 2017, but the diploma was issued on the 15th. It's the issuance of the diploma that's important here. So do make sure that you have a look on your degree certificate and just fill in the correct date there. When it comes to uploading documents, if we recall back to the menu, and you can see here on your screen on the left-hand side of the application page, if we go into the checklist, you can upload all of the required documents that you need for each task in each task on the checklist. This means that you don't have to upload them anywhere else in the application. And the reason why I'm raising this right now is because we see a lot of applicants who in their applications, they have like two sets of documents. So they'll have like, you go through the application and we'll see the documents one time, and then afterwards we'll see them again. And that's most likely because the documents have been uploaded both in the checklist and further down in the tab underneath the documents tab. All of the documents that are necessary for application, you can upload in the checklist. So when you open one of these tasks, this is how the instructions look. So on the left-hand side, you have the instructions for the task, like this is the requirement for the task. Please make sure that you scroll down and you read all the way through, make sure you've understood what's being asked of you. If you have any questions, just get in touch with the admissions office. We're super happy to help. And then on the right-hand side of the task, you have the option that you can click for you. So this one, for example, which is proof of English language proficiency, you can select if you want to apply for a waiver according to the rules which you can see on your screens right now. If you scroll further down, you can select the IELTS test, the TOEFL test, the Cambridge test, different kinds of English waivers, etc., etc. When you scroll to the very bottom of the task information, then you will find where you can drag and drop or upload your relevant file. So just some tips about things that you can do for your application. Do apply as early as possible for you in the intake. Yeah, at the moment, some universities are not available in rounds 4 and 5. So if you apply in rounds 1, 2, or 3, then it means that you heighten the chances of where you can study. And it also, just in general, it provides you with more time to get everything needed, everything organized that you need. Make sure you submit all of the required documents on time. We do follow up with all applications that have missing documents. if you apply with an application that's incomplete, then the window of time that we have to be able to get the required documents from you can be quite short. And therefore, if you submit all of your documents that you need on time, then it means that you minimize that risk of having problems in order to be able to find the documents that you need and upload them later on in the application period. The third point here, this is really, really important because the largest reason why people's applications are not approved is because they don't meet the English proficiency requirements. So do make sure that you thoroughly check our English proficiency requirements. We have a couple of different tests that are approved. You can find on our website, if we remember back to where I was showing you previously, you can find out the scores that we need for each of the different tests and any other processes that you might need. Like, for example, if you take a Cambridge test, then you have to share the results with KTH Royal Institute of Technology so that we can verify those results for you. So do make sure that you thoroughly check the English proficiency requirements. Only apply for a waiver, please, if you fulfill the requirements. We see people trying to apply for the special track waiver, which is for those of you who have studied in English in India or Singapore. This one, for example, is only valid in the Sustainable Energy Systems program. And we see people trying to apply for that waiver in different programs like Energy for Smart Cities or Renewable Energy, and it's not possible. So if you understand the conditions of each English test waiver, and if you understand what the admissions requirements are for English, then the likelihood of you passing through these checks is going to be greater, and fingers crossed that we can welcome you in the next academic year. If you have any questions, please just contact us on admissionsoffice@innoenergy.com. We're super happy to help, and we would rather mitigate problems in an application by applicants contacting us before they've applied, as opposed to us chasing things that are missing in the application later, and then, of course, like shortening down this time that we've got. And then finally, do make sure, as I said before, that you read our website, get to know it like the back of your hand. Make sure you know like where to find all the different pieces of information. Give the acceptance letter if you are admitted a very good read. Go through it with a fine-tooth comb, get a second opinion if you want. And please also keep your eyes peeled for our email communications and read them very carefully. What we found is that quite often when we reach out to applicants about missing documents is that sometimes we don't get a response, and then we can see that the documents have not been submitted as we've asked. And then when an applicant then gets that rejection, there's an email from the applicant saying, why have I been rejected? So do make sure that you keep your eyes peeled for our email communications. Make sure that you read them, that you understand them. If you don't, ask us questions. We're happy to help. And yeah, you should be good to go. But then what should you not do during application then? 5 tips here on things that you should avoid doing. Don't wait until the end of the deadline for the round to apply. This kind of ties in with applying as early in the intake as you possibly can. We love deadlines in the university world, and students love to submit things at the very end of the deadline. This is, human behavior. But if you submit your application earlier on in the application round, then you have a greater chance of being able to get together any documents that we might need if you've got any missing documents. Don't focus too much on the CV or any additional letters or qualifications. Provide information for the things that we're asking you for. If you're applying for a scholarship, you may wish to upload some supplementary documentation, but things like high school diplomas or sometimes we get applicants who apply with lots of different awards and things like that. If it's not strictly necessary for the application, maybe it's something that you can question about whether it needs to be in the application. And CVs, they should be a maximum of 2 sides of A4. Tying again also with the fact that you should be checking out the English proficiency requirements, please do not select an English test waiver if it does not fit your background, okay? The only thing it's going to do is it's just going to postpone the handling of your application and, heighten the chances of the fact that you might get rejected. So do make sure that you only apply for an English test waiver if you fulfill the requirement. For those of you who have studied a national diploma or a higher national diploma, or for those of you who have studied under, French systems, then please make sure that you include documentations from your classe préparatoire or from your national diploma or higher national diploma. So this includes any transcripts that you've got and any leaving certificate that you've got. Because this is, it's also part of your qualification at the end of the day. So. And then also, please don't upload the same document several times. Going back to the checklist again, if you upload the document in the checklist, that's done. You can breathe easy, and we'll get it seen to. It's not necessary to upload things multiple times. Please also avoid uploading lengthy booklets or info sheets. If you think that it might be useful that the program steering committees have a little bit more information about which modules you've studied, then you can, of course, upload some supplementary information, but please avoid uploading, sometimes we see booklets of 50 pages uploaded in an application. That kind of stuff is perhaps not quite necessary. But if there is some information in that booklet that you think is necessary, let's say, for example, your grading system is located in that booklet, maybe you can isolate that page and upload that single page instead. So that should avoid sort of lengthy uploads. To sum up, I hope that this has been a useful little period for you to be able to create the best application you possibly can. For any admissions related questions, please contact us at the InnoEnergy Masters Plus admissions office on admissionsoffice@innoenergy.com. If you have any program related sort of funding, finances, other questions, then we have some student advisors, which you can reach with the details that you can see on your screen right now. You can also send them a little WhatsApp message, you can give them a call, or you can email them. And then if you have any questions relating to studies, housing, social life, university, what it's like in the new city, the new country, that kind of thing, then please talk to our student ambassadors, and you can find them on our website as well. So remember, the website is your best friend in the application time. Make sure you know it in and out, and make sure you use all of the functions that are available to you in order to be able to support yourself to create the best application possible. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you in the next autumn.